Alright, Scarvy here with another quick one on Valheim. I'm going to do just a little bit of a starter thing on Valheim, on some of the tips and tricks that I've just started learning along the way that have helped me so far. And if you have anything that a starter player might want to know, feel free to shove it down in the comments so that people who might come and see this video might want to actually read through those and see what it is that I might potentially miss. Obviously, the first thing, once you've landed, you're going to want to talk to the bird. The bird just gives you a little bit of an introduction, and anytime the bird shows up, it's going to give you a little bit of a hint here and there. Alright, and he'll disappear off that and then turn up on the stone here and give us some more. Obviously, you want to start picking up items straight away. That's all well and good. There's always food hiding behind the first little spawn point. Raspberries and... there should be some mushrooms hiding here somewhere. Get you moving on. Where's those mudgies? Oh, there they are. Okay, so we've got some food, we've got a few items. The main problem with the start areas, you might not have enough wood or stone to craft, say, the hatchet straight up. So tab will open up your inventory, and we can get a stone axe, for example, or I could build a hammer. But I don't have enough wood, and you may not find enough wood. So you can go searching in the forest. So yes, you've run out of wood and you don't have enough to actually craft the thing you want. Now these smaller trees, you can actually punch them. You'll gain your unarmed skill, and once it's destroyed, you'll drop some wood. And so you end up getting enough that you can actually craft your very first item. Alright, we have the stone axe. It's really, really beneficial if you are near water. I'm actually not seeing any. Let's see if we can find the water. Right. Oh, there's a beehive there. Whenever you see these little huts, you should actually come and visit them, because they will potentially have chests, and you want to basically get all that stuff. Okay, so we found a river, which is kind of handy. Let's see if we can see it. Now, the reason why you want to find water is for the flint. Flint being a different material, but it gives you a higher level of things that you can actually work with. Okay, so I've collected quite a lot of wood. I've got some flint, I've got some rocks, and I did kill a boar along the way. And so I've got a little scrap of leather. So now that we're actually in this situation, we're going to want to start setting up some kind of a base. So obviously you want the hammer. So hammer will allow you to build all kinds of things. You don't get the building materials until you build the workbench. Apparently I need more wood now, so let's chop down some trees. Okay, well, we've got lots and lots of equipment. Now I actually need to break my axe. So we'll chop down a few more trees and break this axe. Right, axe is broken. Good. So, your axe is broken, you've got lots of materials, you're about to start building. Let's get that going right now. So we've got a workbench. When you first place down a workbench, it will give you all of your stuff, and that's why you want to get a workbench. The main problem is that you want to be able to put the workbench in shelter. Now, I prefer to actually build things where the workbench would be inside, but you don't get that option, right? You could try and build some stuff under it now. But if you recycle the building by taking your hammer back out again, hit by default the middle mouse button, it will give you back your workbench, and you actually get the same price that you paid for it. So it'll give you your 10 wood back, or at least it did for me. So now we should be able to see that I have all the building pieces. I can't actually build them because the workbench circle, you can actually kind of see there's a white circle, and that's the build radius. And so what we actually have to do, and I want to try this out, let's build a couple of foundations, recycle the bench, see what happens. Alright, so they've actually remained. Nice. And yeah, I don't have a workbench, so I can't actually continue my build, but I have my first little pieces down, which is the more important part, right? So you need your workbench to be able to build, but you may want to actually build part of your structure before you actually put the workbench down. So you have to do a little bit of juggling there. And so if you wanted to, say, build something which is a little bit higher off the ground, you could put... Let's just put a shorter pillar, actually. No, let's go tall pillar. So we put a tall pillar down. I can then put a floor and put it on top. Now, it will not snap exactly to the corners when you put this one down, which is the annoying one. But you can stick one right on top. I'm probably going to want to put one which is a little bit lower down. I want my floor height about there. But now, you should be able to snap a post onto the corner. And so you can then use that as your basis of a building. Okay, so let's see. It gets a little bit annoying with this, but lining things up, you can do it. They do line up and they do eventually snap. You just got to find the fiddly little spot where it's working. Alright, so once again, we can pick that up. Can't change anything on the build anymore, but we can now put our bench down. Alright. Yes, hello. I want you to go away. So the other part to this is you need a roof. Okay, so let's get that roof finished. Okay, so now we have our workbench. And the reason why we had the broken axe specifically for this is it took me a while to work this one out. Is repairing an item is this little hammer here on the side. It's not very obvious that that's actually the repair. And you don't seem to be able to choose specifically what you're repairing, or is what I've actually... Unless I can do it that way. Yeah, there we go. You can pick up items there, or you can just keep clicking it, and it will repair items one by one through your inventory. And you can get things that way. And the reason why we had flint means that you have access to flint gear in here. So for example, the flint axe, which is better than the stone axe. So it's a bit of an upgrade. Right? And then you can upgrade your gear in here. Now I can't upgrade very much because I need a level 2 station. So a level 2 station, however, when we bring up the hammer, is here. This chopping block. Now a chopping block requires 10 wood and 10 flint. I already have the flint because I went and got a whole heap of it. So let's go and get some more wood now. Okay, so we should have enough wood and we should have enough flint. We can build this. Now it's going to want to tether, and you can see the little lines there that it's actually got for tethering. And that will then tether our next item to the workbench, thus upgrading it. Now you don't actually use the chopping block from what I've seen, but it does cause this to now be upgraded. We have a level 2 workbench. But in our upgrade side of things, we can now upgrade some of our gear to level 2, which was a requirement before. But now we can actually do it. So that's how you manage to access the upgrades. So having flint, getting down near the water, is quite essential to start off with. And then the next thing we want to do is I'm probably going to show about the food buffs. And the food buffs are quite essential as well. Kill some of these necks. See if one drops. Yep, there we go. We got a neck tail. So there's a 2-part thing here. Hammer. So we want to build a fireplace. You can't seem to build a fireplace on an actual floor, which is a pain. But I'm going to build it on the ground outside my house. And then going to build a food cooking spot. Take that off. We put the necktail on there. That's going to cook now. But while that fire is going, you can see in the top right I've got the fire buff. If I give myself the sheltered buff, which I'm probably going to have to build to finish this. So let's do that now. There it is. I've got it. I want to build that last bit if I can. Just for the hell of it. Gosh, I wish there was a better... You could cycle through the snap points, would probably make this a lot better. Alright, so I'm inside the building. I have a fire, and now I'm actually resting. And when you have the rested buff, it gives you... You can actually... Now I've got 10 minutes of the rested bonus. My health isn't actually going up, and the reason why my health is not going up is I don't have the food buff. When you've actually eaten some food, and you're resting, your health while you're sitting here goes up dramatically faster than when you're out in the field. So this is ticking, there's a little green icon that will come up above my head in a moment saying 3.5. And that's simply coming from the food buff that I have. And when I go outside, and I no longer have the rested buff, I'll wait for the little green icon to come above my head. It's 1.5, so significantly reduced. And I suspect the rested buff that I've got for 10 minutes is helping me with that. However, if you eat food which is significantly better, so cooked food. You can see the bar down the bottom left has increased by a lot more. And on the outside, waiting for the health to increase, 4.5 on the outside now, or if I jump on the inside and get myself the comfort buff, we're now resting, we wait for the little green blip, 10.5. So I gained a lot of health. So if you're out in the field and you're quite damaged, you need to make sure that you've got food. You actually have the food buff down the bottom left. And if you want to heal faster, you want to go and get yourself into shelter so you can get some comfort. And that way you'll actually heal a lot quicker and get yourself back out into the field. It's also worth noting that if you are actually cold inside your house, and you can actually be cold, you won't get that rested buff, which is why I put the fire right near the building, and that allows you to be warm with a fire buff and a rested buff, giving you the comfort inside the building. Meat? Ah, there we go. Good. Got some meat. Back to base. Okay, so now I have a piece of cooked meat. Get ourselves into the rested environment. So when you have one piece of food, or sorry, no pieces of food, the maximum health you'll get is 25. And you can see that I currently have a raspberry and a necktail, and I got 55. And then when I eat another piece of cooked meat, it jumps me up even more significantly. And it seems like the boar meat is actually quite good in terms of its health. So I'm going to end up having somewhere around the 90 mark here by the looks of it in terms of my health. And this also increases my stamina. Okay, so my stamina now is much better. So having multiple food buffs, especially if you can get better food, is very beneficial. And really that's probably about the only thing I really wanted to cover from a start point of view. And that's just some simple tips and tricks to get you started. I'm going to go through a playthrough next where I actually try and defeat the first boss, which is going to be fun. But again, if other people have any start tips that people might have missed when they first start, or the interface isn't really that nice at helping you out to work out, it would be lovely if you can chuck them down in the comments so that anyone that comes by this video will also be able to read the comments and get that little bit of a leg up when they first start trying to understand how things are actually going. Alright, well I hope this has actually been helpful. And yeah, make sure you catch me when I start my actual playthrough, and we'll go and see if we can actually defeat that first boss. What was his name? Eikthyr. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.